Sorry about the awkward pause. The camera took a little while to start back up. Start up. Anyway, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Backtracking. I'm so glad that you all decided to rejoin me. So let's just get started with part 2, where I'll be covering, well, the third of Korn's albums, from the Untouchables to their Untitled work. Let's get this on. So we continue with the band's 5th album, Untouchables, released in 2002. It's regarded as Korn's best album outside of their debut, and I have to agree with that on so many levels. Despite all of the scene's tension and tumult, the album could not have come out better, and it feels like just a really good revitalization for the band. One of the factors for this could be the fact that the band themselves actually took a turn producing on the album, with help from a new producer named Michael Beinhorn, or Bienhorn. Michael. I've said it once, I'll say it again, letting a band produce their own stuff only results in greatness, as we hear that in the Untouchables. Well, just Untouchables, no further. Also, side note, it's the first album where Jonathan Davis started using his now iconic microphone as stand, designed by alien designer and penis wall enthusiast H.R. Geiger. Yeah, him. There's just something about the band's influence with their production that makes things sound so much better on the album. Monkey and Head put out the best riffs that they've ever put out, with many songs being examples of, well, just how good they are. But that's not the only improvement. Jonathan Davis's vocals have improved once more, as his cleaner singing sounds a lot less raspier. Yet you can still tell that it's him singing, it still hasn't lost any of its creep factor. As well as the fact that he keeps on screaming, as always, and he just whispers creepily sometimes. Ugh. David Silveria's drumming steps up as well, providing great grooves and fills for many of the band's tunes, and Fielder's lead bass complements the dark tone of the band sound perfectly, as it always does. The album itself just has this fantastic balance to it. It's equally heavy and light at some points, but mostly heavy. It just strikes it perfectly. The album does not break flow, and it keeps things interesting. It keeps you guessing in some ways. The lyrics explore more themes, such as what it means to be a man, just wanting to say fuck it to everything around you, and the usual stuff of bullying and standing up for yourself. Standout songs include Alone I Break, Thoughtless, Wake Up, Hate, Beat It Upright, Blame, Wake Up, Hate, not Wake Up, then Hate. Blame, and my favourite song, as well as my favourite Korn song ever, Here to Stay. Listen to Untouchables, it's probably their best work, and it's a great example of how the band can experiment slightly without changing the very core of who they are. It just works. It just works. Next up is album numero 6, Take a Look in the Mirror, released in 2003. This album was the last to feature Brian Head Welch on guitar, as well as the band's last album under Epic and Immortal, whom they'd been with since the beginning pretty much, which is why I didn't bring up the label up until this point. They also switched producers yet again, bringing in Frank Filippetti, while Jonathan Davis himself gets in sometime behind the booth. The album itself, much like Life is Peachy, saw a mixed response from critics, and was said by Head himself to be Korn's worst album, but it did get a lot of acclaim from fans. It's not hard to see why, and even less hard to agree with latter, however I can see where the professional critics come from on it. I'm about to be a bit negative, but there's good reason, so please don't form a mob and show up at my door. We'll do that, and I'll invite you in for a cup of tea. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Anyway, the album can get a bit repetitive at times, and it feels just a bit stripped down in a few ways when compared to how Korn experimented on their previous efforts, mostly on Untouchables. That's all the negativity out of the way, really, so let's get back to the good stuff. Despite being stripped down, it feels like there's this heaviness to it that the band were missing, which comes in the form of Jonathan Davis adding a viciously demonic-sounding growl to his vocal repertoire. It just sounds so damn good to hear him doing it. He actually sounds pissed off and mad about it when he growls, and I fucking love it. David's drumming has improved quite a bit this time around, having just more of a tightness to it. Fielder's bass is as groovy as ever. Peace. And the riffs of Monkey and Head just sound really, really good. Also, Rapper Nose appears on the song Play Me for some reason. Anyway, let's get out to standout songs. My favourite tracks include Did My Time, Right Now, Counting on Me, I'm Done, and my standout of them all is Y'all Want a Single, Say Fuck That, Fuck That, Fuck That. If you want to, give a listen to Take a Look in the Mirror, but proceed with caution, that's all I can say really, but it does not deserve the hate that it's gotten. Next up is their 7th album. I always botched the numbering. See You on the Other Side, released in 2005. The album is the first to not feature Head, and the last to feature original drummer David Silveria. Jonathan Davis remains on hand to produce the album along with new producer Atticus Ross and legendary production team The Matrix, who are best known for their work with pop music, having helped out singers such as Avril Lavigne, Britney Spears, and Shakira. But just because they have solid credentials in the world of pop music doesn't make them any worse, and they actually land a really good hand in how we shape Korn's sound in this album. There's just more of this industrial feel to it, and everything feels a bit lighter and a bit bouncier. That might sound bad, especially considering how well established Korn were by this stage. Remember, it was the mid 2000s, but the album was just a really nice breath of fresh air that they needed. Speaking of breath of fresh air, I had to do a little burp, I apologise. Yeah, it's that one album in a veteran band's rock catalogue that shouldn't work, but does. Kind of like Broken Matt Hardy. Anyway, with the change of producers also comes a change of record label, as the band joined forces with EMI and Virgin, whoever they are. Jonathan's lyrics sound just more positive in places, and his vocals just sound the cleanest that they've ever been. There's less screaming, if any at all, but that doesn't mean that there's a lack of emotion. Monkey's riffs in their own right just sound much simpler than when he was teaming with Head, but simple was what the band needed at the time. Fielder's bass drives the band's groove as ever, and David's drumming is good on the album. It's just really, really good. If it did feel like it took a backseat in some cases, but maybe that's just me. There's just so many more different elements for this one, showing the band's desire to experiment as Take a Look at the Mirror did, but they pull it off a lot better with See You on the Other Side. Standout songs include Twisted Transistor, Souvenir, 10 or a Two-Way, what a weird name for a song that is, Coming Undone, and my standout just might be Throw Me Away, as it's a good throwback to Korn's older sound in a lot of ways. Listen to See You on the Other Side and proceed with less caution than you would with Take a Look in the Mirror. You might be pleasantly surprised with what you find. And rather unfortunately, we end part 2 on a so now as we take a look at the band's 8th album, just Untitled, released in 2007. I'm not a big fan of this one. The title itself is just an example of the laziness inherent in the album itself, as the band left the title open to interpretation. Why? The album is the first to not have an official drummer, with Terry Bozzio of Missing Persons, Brooks Wackerman of Bad Religion, and even Jonathan Davis himself learning him behind the kit, as David left before. I think I mentioned it last time, who cares? The main producer for this one is Atticus Ross, all on his lonesome. Okay, so no producers without engineers and mixers and such, but my point still stands. One of the few positives that I can give about this album is that it's the first appearance of Korn's unofficial sixth man, Zach Baird, best known as their keyboard player, and he does a pretty good job in the album. Alright, back to the negative stuff. The album just feels lazy, and nobody sounds like they're enjoying themselves. Jonathan's vocals make him sound bored and tired, Fielder's bass feels so stripped down, Monkey's riffs are scratchy and unmemorable, and despite the talented drumming on hand, there's just no groove that really caught my ear. They wanted the album to sound like a sequel to Untouchables. If that's the case, then Untouchables is the son of The Mask to Untouchables The Mask. It's that bad. The album just feels so bland and boring, and it felt like a chore to listen to it. Ironic considering the album is one of the Korn's shorter pieces of work overall, clocking in at just under 49 minutes. Standout songs, as few as they were, include Evolution, Love and Luxury, Do What They Say, and my favourite song, probably in Ever Be. In short, I would not blame you for skipping over Untitled. It's lazy, it lacks feeling, and feels like just a really bad retread of what they tried to be. It does have a really cool cover art though, I'll give it that. Alright, that's it for part 2. Join me next time for the final part, where I'll cover their final 4 albums, starting with Korn 3, and ending with their 2016 release, The Serenity of Suffering. I will see you all, then I bid you adieu, as is my awesome grenade.